Well, I mean, a lot of times it doesn't even have to come down to lying. Like, if the specific casting director sees it, you can look at somebody who says that they have recurring roles on all these shows, but they're not in any unions, like,
and they don't have any demo tape.
Right, exactly.
Oh, hello.
Yeah,
Where's
it's
the
just
proof?
like so many red flags, and especially for somebody who's been in the industry for so long, you're going to figure it out way before.
I can glance like this and go, lies,
Right.
making it up, and then I'll call some of the people and say, how many of those credits are background? Well, all of them, and some of them I wasn't even background. And I said, you know what? You need to get a real resume and real life experience and real experience in this industry before you submit yourself to anybody, because you're building something on sand.
Yeah.
It will not stand up. It will fall down, and you'll take down innocent people with you. Please don't do that. So I will call people who send me just horrific lies.
Yeah.
And it's not to put anyone down, it's just where they're at. And I tell them straight. I'm very direct and very straight. And it comes from a place of love. It comes from a place of supporting them. It comes from a place of wanting to set them up to win.
Yeah.
I don't have to spend my time to call someone up and say, you just sent me a ridiculous resume.
Right.
I don't have to do that. Or if there's a picture of somebody, I got a picture from a woman who like had Band-Aids on her breasts, like it was that kind of outfit, just covering only that much.
Yeah.
And her legs were up against her chin and parted, and I could see her underwear. And I called her up and I said, what are you selling?
Right.
What do you mean? What are you selling? I'm an actor. Oh, you are? Really? When you make a mistake on your computer, do you put whiteout on the screen?
Right, right.
And it's like they don't get it. They don't have it in their awareness that that's inappropriate.
Yeah.
There are so many sex addicts in the world. So many. And not putting them down, it's just where they're at, and they're not in recovery. If they're in recovery, fantastic. That's that cross to bear will be the greatest gift of their life.
Mm-hmm.
And so much of this industry is catering to sex addiction, love addiction, all kinds of things that people are struggling with.
Right, right.
And it's horrific. And that's one way I want to cause a shift in the entertainment industry, is to promote authenticity, is to promote honoring the temple, the body temple, honoring women, honoring men, not objectifying any person.
Right.
Objectification is not the answer. And there's so much sex and violence in everything today. What I hope to buffer in any kind of small way that I can is to reduce that to the point where it's not noticeable anymore.
Yeah.
Only include it when it's important for a story point that's going to leave people feeling inspired and empowered.
Right.
But not gratuitous. If it's gratuitous, it's empty calories. It's
Right,
like
it's
eating
trash, yeah.
Twinkies all your life. You'll die.
Right.
So, have I answered your question about clients and the kind of people that I attract?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was just going to ask just kind of the standard. Do you open all of these submissions?
Every single one.
And that must take a lot of time, but obviously,
Every single one.
Wow.
I love what I do, so I don't know if I'm working or playing. I could do this all day, lights me up, gives me vitality. That's when you know you're living your purpose.
Yeah.
I'm not just a talent manager. I'm so much more than that. And what I offer to the client is so much more than management. And when they treat me like I'm just a manager, why aren't you getting me jobs? Well, why aren't you attracting them?
Right.
What are you thinking about? What are you bringing about? How are you helping me help you? What's your attitude? Don't make me come in there.
Right.
And truly, I will go in there after them and say, I know I'm doing all this work, and I know that with the relationships I have with casting directors that these people should be getting in those offices. And then I'll call up that client and say, what kind of breakdown are you having in your life right now? They'll start crying or something. Say, how'd you know? Well, you're not getting auditions. You weren't getting auditions. Well, that's because everything was good then. No, this is contrast. Find out what's perfect about that breakdown. Find out what's perfect about it. Put it at the top of your gratitude list. Honor it. Ask it what it wants with you. And then see what it wants with you and turn it into something good.
And don't let your problems and your issues defeat you. Just,
The challenges are there to rub off the rough edges and turn you into a diamond. And it's so easy when you know how. And that's why the book I'm writing, End of the Anonymous Actor, Changing Your Life Story Forever, I can't wait to get that out in the world.
I can't wait to read it.
Because
Sounds great.
it will have all of this in there. The pitfalls, the way we trip ourselves. I lived it. I went through it all. The reason I became a manager was I was shooting a Bank of America commercial, and 35 pounds of lead hit me between the shoulders. I was knocked to the ground. It crushed and shattered my disc in vertebrae 5 and 6. I have titanium plate fusion in there now. If it weren't for that, seemed like crisis, I wouldn't be a manager today. And I'm so grateful for that. And I was told I would be paralyzed in 2 years to get my affairs in order. And I'm a single mom, and I'm young, and I'm like, that's not fair. I don't want to, I can't do that. That's not an option. I'm not going to be paralyzed. I had to take my son to school.
Right.
And I couldn't sue anybody because there was a no-fault clause in my contract when I was an actor. And so they paid, workers' comp paid my medical. And I thought, I am not going to be a victim here. I will not be a victim. So I asked every person I could think of, how can I do spiritual warfare on this condition, spinal canal stenosis? Not curable, not operable, so they say. And this one person, he was a heavy metal bass player with tattoos all over him and a mullet haircut.
Yeah.
And he goes, come with me. I have the answer. So he took my son and I to a tattoo parlor on the Sunset Strip, and he introduced me to a Buddhist priest masquerading as a tattoo artist named Ralph. And Ralph
It's a combination.
proceeded,
right there,
it's very funny, and he chain smoked, but he was a Buddhist priest. He was doing his work. And this person, Matt, told him what my situation was, and I told him what my situation was, and he says, okay, is it okay if I do this? And he put an Om Mani Padme Hum, I'm going to show you, on my ankle. It's an Om Mani Padme Hum.
Does it go all the way around there?
All the way around.
Okay.
And that is the Dalai Lama's favorite symbol. And it means 1,000 prayers, basically. And that was my spiritual warfare. And he put a colored angel on my back at the impact point. And I call it colored acupuncture. So the thing is that 2 weeks after he put this tattoo on my ankle, I go to my doctor to get released to go get paralyzed. I have my MRI x-rays in my hand. I'm standing in line. I'm telling the secretary, said, too young, single mom, to be paralyzed. It's not fair. Some person behind me, there's a bunch of people in line, he says, who told you that? I said, that doctor in there told me that. He says, is that your x-rays? I said, yeah. He goes, come with me. He took me to an office, put my x-rays up on a light, and he goes, oh, I can fix that. I'm like, what? You can fix that? He goes, oh, I'm sorry. I'm Dr. Robert Bray Jr., head of spinal disorders at Cedars-Sinai Hospital. Nice to meet you. And I said, oh, and I looked at my tattoo, and I'm like, whoa. He said, if you have insurance and your insurance won't cover the surgery, I will do it for free.
Wow.
We've done 1,000 of these, all successful. I know I can help you. And year 2000, March 6th, I had the surgery, and I'm healthy as I can be.